Imagine being in a place where food is running out, the crowd is huge, and there seems to be no solution in sight. Imagine standing there, hungry, tired, and unsure of what will happen next. This is the setting of one of the most well-known and powerful stories in the Bible. The story of Jesus feeding the 5,000. This story is not just about food. It's about compassion. It's about faith. And it's about what can happen when what little we have is placed in God's hands. Whether you've heard this story many times or you're hearing it for the first time, its message is timeless and deeply relevant to everyday life. At this point in Jesus' life, large crowds were constantly following him. Some people came because they were sick and wanted healing. Others came because they had heard his teachings and were curious. And some came simply because they had seen miracles and wanted to witness more. On this particular day, Jesus and his disciples tried to get away from the crowds. They traveled by boat to a quiet, remote place so they could rest. But the people didn't give up. They saw where Jesus was heading and followed him on foot from different towns. By the time Jesus arrived, a massive crowd had already gathered. The Bible tells us there were about 5,000 men, and that number did not even include women and children. In reality, the crowd may have numbered 10 to 15,000 people or more. Jesus looked at the crowd and saw their hunger. Not just for food, but for hope, guidance, and healing. Instead of turning them away, he was moved with compassion. He welcomed them, taught them, and healed those who were sick. As the hours passed, the day slowly turned into evening, and a serious problem became clear. The people were hungry. The disciples came to Jesus with concern and said, "This is a remote place, and it's getting late. Send the people away so they can go into the villages and buy food for themselves." From a practical point of view, their suggestion made sense. There was no food, there were too many people, and there were no nearby places to buy anything. But Jesus surprised them. He replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." The disciples were shocked. They looked at the crowd, then at each other, and then at what they had. Their answer was honest and realistic. "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish." That was it. 5 loaves, 2 fish, and thousands of hungry people. To the disciples, it wasn't even close to enough. Jesus knew exactly what he was doing. This moment was not just about feeding a crowd. It was a test of faith. He said, "Bring them here to me." Then he instructed the people to sit down on the grass. Imagine the scene. Thousands of people sitting in groups, children fidgeting, parents whispering, everyone wondering what would happen next. Jesus took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. He looked up to heaven, gave thanks, and broke the bread. Then he handed the pieces to the disciples, and the disciples began giving the food to the people. And something extraordinary happened. The food did not run out. Every time the disciples reached into the basket, there was more. The bread kept multiplying. The fish kept multiplying. People ate, and they didn't just take a small bite. They ate until they were satisfied. Children ate until they were full. Adults ate until they were full. Everyone had enough. When the entire crowd had finished eating, Jesus gave another instruction. He told the disciples to gather the leftovers. They went around collecting what remained, and when they were done, they filled 12 baskets with leftover bread and fish. 12 baskets from 5 loaves and 2 fish. What once seemed impossible was now undeniable. This miracle carries powerful lessons that still matter today. Jesus showed compassion before anything else. He did not ignore the crowd's hunger or rush them away. He cared deeply about their needs. The disciples focused on what they lacked, but Jesus focused on what was available. What seemed small became more than enough in God's hands. The disciples also had to trust and act before they fully understood how the miracle would happen. And in the end, God provided not just enough, but more than enough. Many people today feel just like the disciples did that day. They look at their resources and think, this is not enough. Not enough money, not enough strength, not enough time, not enough answers. But this story reminds us that what matters is not how much we have, but who we place it in. When we bring what we have to God, even if it seems small, He can do more with it than we ever imagine. The story of Jesus feeding the 5,000 is not just a miracle from the past. It is an invitation to trust, to believe, and to bring what we have, no matter how small, into God's hands. Because when compassion meets faith and faith meets obedience, miracles can happen. And sometimes the greatest miracle is not just the bread that multiplies, but the faith that grows.